Students gifted with a keen intellect and unwavering discipline may walk the path of the mage. Masters of all schools of magic, the arcane magic available to magi is both great and dangerous, and thus is revealed only to the most devoted practitioners. To avoid interference with their spellcasting, mages wear only cloth armor, but compensate for this with a range of armor and barrier spells, wreathing themselves in flame, frost, or even arcane energies. Skilled mages can even summon mirror images of themselves to confuse the opposition. Mages are a powerful presence on the battlefield. To keep enemies at bay, magi can summon bursts of fire to incinerate distant targets and cause entire areas to erupt, setting groups of foes ablaze. Masters of ice can command blizzards that tear into the flesh of their enemies and limit their movement. Mages can use their mental powers to alter the very fabric of reality, turning snarling attackers into harmless sheep, or even altering time itself. Quick of mind and fleet of foot, mages stay one step ahead of their enemies. Masters of kiting, they can use their enviable range of snares to defeat whole groups of opponents without putting a hair out of place. They are quick and can blink away from attackers, deploy a Frost Nova or Ring of Frost to freeze whole groups in place, or even throw a polymorph for a quick escape. And if an enemy should get too close, mages can ice block to be healed back up. They can even slip behind enemy lines with invisibility or avoid confrontation entirely. Powerful magi can quicken the minds of their allies, granting a bloodlust effect through time warp and providing the arcane intellect buff, generating enhancements, refreshments, and portals, transporting groups of players instantly across the world. The mage specializes in burst damage and area of effect spells, and are well known for their impressive damage output, as well as their range of crowd control abilities and useful utility spells such as Counterspell and Spellsteal. Arcane mages manipulate raw arcane magic, destroying enemies with overwhelming power. They value their mana more than other specs, guzzling through it if they aren't careful with their arcane charges. While bombarding their targets with arcane missile channels, they deal incredible focus target damage with their frequent burst windows, making use of Touch of the Magi and Radiant Spark to cleave all enemies around their main target, building up arcane charges and dumping them with huge arcane barrage crits. They also have tools like Arcane Orb and Explosion to quickly build resources for sustained AoE damage. Fire mages focus the pure essence of fire magic, assaulting enemies with combustive flames. They aim to land crits with Fireball to generate heating up, and then turn those into hot streaks through Fire Blast to fire off instant Pyroblasts. Creating these Pyroblast chains is integral to their damage, and by using the Ignite mechanic, the majority of their damage will spread passively to surrounding targets. Fire Mage offers an excellent 1-minute cooldown burst window with Combustion, bursting into flames and granting 100% crit on all of your abilities for 10 seconds. This offers incredible bursts on AoE and single target. Fire's other strengths include that they are fully mobile and can bring strong execute damage, particularly potent in a raiding scenario. And they also have one of the best defensive toolkits in the game, being able to spec into a cheat death through Cauterize on top of their usual ice blocks and barriers. Frost mages freeze enemies in their tracks and shatter them into pieces with frost magic, offering very high consistent single target and cleave damage. Frost is a proc-based spec with a simple but reactive gameplay loop, pummeling their targets with frostbolts and their bread and butter combo of Flurry, followed up by 2 Ice Lance casts to shatter their foes with guaranteed critical strikes, particularly potent if spec'd into Glacial Spike, firing a huge icicle for massive damage. They are very mobile with a good range of instant cast spells, passively cleaving with Splitting Ice and calling down blizzards and comet storms on AoE packs. Through skilled gameplay, they can extend their DPS cooldowns to have near 100% uptime. Being a pure DPS class, Mage historically always has at least one spec that's going to be viable in PvE and PvP. If you're a Mage and you're capable of playing all the specs at progression level, then you're in a very strong place for any raid, being able to switch freely if one spec's niche fits a fight better. They also bring an immunity in the form of Ice Block, preventing all damage for a time while holding you in place. Frost mages can also do this twice in quick succession with Cold Snap, placing them into their own category when it comes to usefulness on certain fights. In PvP, mages typically operate by setting up CC chains into burst windows, slowly burning through your enemy's defensives each time until you inevitably land a kill. Because mage is so slippery, they can easily play without a healer too. Frost is a spec with the highest amount of control and will provide more constant pressure than its burstier counterparts, who use Combustion and Arcane Surge to try and land a kill. In Mythic Plus, the mage is almost always one of the top damage dealers, and they have been highly coveted in every season so far. On screen is a first look at the Mage's tier sets and bonuses in the first raid of Dragonflight, Vault of the Incarnates. If you're looking for a very safe caster pick with all 3 specs having different and engaging rotations, look no further than the Mage. Comment what you'll be maining in Dragonflight, and if you can't decide, check out the next class on screen now.